Welcome in TF We Judge. Today we have a continuation episode on Hi Sensei
老师
Cikgu.
something name. What's teacher in Indian? in
Follow up. Sir or ma'am, they usually call their teacher sir.
Okay. Anyways, you guys get the point, right?
Our episode today is the roles, or at least what you would do if you were an educator.
Yeah, and from the perspective of a student and
from the perspective of management, who
and the
deals with teachers frequently.
and the perspective of a fellow educator.
Yes.
So continuing from last time, that was a student. So now we are talking about, as a teacher. You had as a teacher. First off, again, we're gonna talk about
You gotta show up.
attendance. Come on, man.
If you don't show up, who's there to teach?
Not only that, as students, I feel like if you don't show up, my respect for you goes down.
Immediately.
Yeah, I wouldn't say how much depending on the situation or the reason you're absent, but it still went down. So
Especially if you do it so frequently.
yeah, and try not to impose. I know that some lecturers, you are just being strict with your students. So you'll say things like, you only have like a 5-minute time frame after the lecture, like the time the lecture should begin for you to enter. After that, I'm going to lock out the doors and stuff. One I wouldn't say advice, it's more like a perspective. From the perspective of a student, we can use it against you. That's one thing. Even if we won't. I hope not. Even though we won't actually use it against you, but again, if that happens, the respect goes down as well. Again, it goes down. So don't. I know that you are trying to be strict, but try to keep that. Try not to impose so much of this kind of rules to your students.
More so, it's matter of closing off opportunity to the students. As much as they are assholes,
Yeah.
you don't be the asshole lah.
Yeah.
Like at times there are students who actually want to learn, but they just have very difficult situation at times. It's not to say that we encourage that type of behavior.
Yeah,
but
for students.
for students at least. But at times they do appreciate to learn, just that they come late or they have very difficult attendance issues.
Yeah, like because my mom is a teacher as well, and she teaches in one of those
Public schools.
public village schools where her students are mostly the elders. Sometimes if they are the elders, they have to be the one taking care of the siblings. Sometimes they have to deal with brothers with or siblings with drug issues and stuff. So what she always does is that, I know that you guys are trying in their situations, so you have to be smart about it. You have to it depends also lah. If that person is like a freaking repeat offender for like the entire semester, then yeah, something is not right. Then yeah, you do have.
That's quite beyond you at this point.
Yeah, but if it's just like once or twice, it's sometimes really, I can't help it, sometimes. So try not to be so strict. Be a little bit more flexible.
Linear.
I would say. Yeah. Be more linear than just trying to keep. Come on, we're not old age now, okay? We're not going once is going to like kill us or anything. Like, just be nice, okay? We are humans too. Just as how you have your situations, or you have your situations where you can't come, or last minute emergencies. It's the same with us, okay?
And next is being relatable, and this comes in the most simplest form, in humility.
Yes.
Most important, or at least what I'm trying to say is, it's okay to be an educator or mentor and still show, or tell stories of your failure.
Oh yeah.
Especially that I would say would be heartwarming at times,
Yeah.
or even eye-catching.
Sometimes it'd be funny as well.
And it could be funny as well, and that's how you grab attention.
Yeah.
Most importantly, it's more so to remind students that it's okay
For them to
make
as
mistakes,
well.
even if you encourage, like, remember, you can make mistakes, but if your ego is up there, then no one is really willing to make that mistake or trust you in that matter.
Yeah.
Just as humans, how we say we are programmed to not make mistakes, that's in the event that we know we shouldn't.
Yeah.
But if given that you have had the opportunity to showcase, back then I used to make a lot of mistakes as well, and
Yeah.
boy, I was the worst student there is.
Yeah.
They feel much safer, and they are more than willing to try it out. And
Yeah.
so they're like, okay, then you can correct them along the way. So they feel like, okay, this makes sense.
They will feel more human to it rather than there's like some very strong, perfect person up there, you know.
Up on the pedestal.
Yeah, I don't think it's healthy. It's a healthy relationship as well for the students, for them to have this kind of image of you. And you want to keep in mind that you are an educator. People will look at you. You will be someone's role model, and it's important for you to at least be able to be, human. If you make mistakes, say sorry, We understand.
You can acknowledge the mistake. We are more than cool to get it.
I wouldn't say all students would acknowledge that you did a mistake, but at least from both of our point of views, you will find students who are okay, who are willing to still respect you despite you making mistakes.
And more so, even more respect to do
Yeah,
that. Because
exactly.
it takes more courage to recognize your mistakes and to either you can make a change about it or you can make a joke out of it. Both takes courage.
Yeah, exactly. But if you can make a joke out of it, kudos to you, because I feel like that's what makes us like more
attuned to your teachings.
Yeah, and not only that, here's a small tip also. If you use the same story for like every batch, then your students like from different batches will be able to communicate. And
you remember that one? Oh yeah, that's what they say.
Or like sometimes we have that one lecturer who will show the picture of his twin. And then it's like every single batch he does that. And then our juniors will be like, the other day this doctor, and then he was like showing the picture of this twin. Yeah, we know, he told us that too. And it's like, and then they're like, huh, really? Yeah, he says that to everyone. It makes it fun, and sometimes it's a communicating way. So yeah.
Next is to have compassion. So coming to this point, it's more of realizing students are pretty dumb at times. for the lack of a better word.
Yeah.
We are there to learn. That's why we're here.
Yes.
Because we don't know. So to come with compassion is more towards to say, I understand that you don't know. I'm trying to pull things out of you, but I won't necessarily get mad at you because one, that's not good for me, and that's not good for you.
Yeah.
Me as in, it's not good for the educator because you're gonna strain yourself out of energy.
Yes, definitely.
Very quickly, because it's like teaching a toddler. You tell them,
tell me about it, please.
come, say papa, say mama, then they're like, and like, do you get mad? Not really. Why?
Tell me
Because
about it.
you know that they don't pick up something like that in a matter of a short span. So just as students, some may take longer than others, but just have the time or the patience to let them be and just do what you can. Sometimes it's beyond you. It's purely the students at hand. They will have to do their own digestion, their own additional reading, learning, and whatnot. But at the moment when you're there, or if they approach you, just take it as it is.
Yeah.
You can be a bit more chill about it. So you are not so stressed, they are not so stressed.
So like as a fellow teacher who teaches kids under 10, I can tell you it takes a lot of patience. So much patience that sometimes you do feel like you want to explode, but then the first few months of my teaching, I realized that it's taking too much out of me to get angry at every single thing. Sometimes it might not go as your lesson planning, but that's fine, you know. Why do you have to strain yourself too much? Just like my mom said, they are there for you. They are there because they don't know. You're supposed to teach them. And every student has a different learning style. Some of them they learn slower, some of them they learn faster. For me, because I teach music, piano, it's more of a practical thing. And we have both practicals and theory. Some people they do better with theory, some people they do better with practical. Some they play better by looking at notes, some people they play better by hearing. So each one of us have a different style of learning, and it's up to the educators to actually discover what kind of styles that student is.
Or at least just encourage them, honestly. At times, I
Yeah.
understand, at least from a managerial perspective, that it's not really the educator's job at times.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
times to dig all this stuff. I
Yeah,
mean, if
Definitely.
you have that passion, hey, kudos to that.
Kudos to the,
If you don't, it's fine as well.
Mm.
It's perfectly neutral. Next, don't compare. Don't compare inter-batch and intra-batch.
Yeah.
Don't compare among the peers, because
Mm.
at times it's not the most healthy thing. You can say a reference, say, oh, this I appreciate, so I would like to see
It would be good to see you guys do the same thing as well.
or at least move towards this direction.
Yeah.
Or you can say a certain preference to say, I like this style. Can
Mhm.
you guys just slowly shift to this along the way?
Mm.
Something like that would be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But when it's comparison that, why are you not like this? Or
Mm.
you should be like that. And then
But this one, I think if you are from a public school, you would relate to this more than ever. Like
very hard.
very, very, very commonly seen in public schools. I'm not sure about like Chinese schools, but I went to a national public school. So you will hear teachers going on like saying, oh, you guys are the worst batch I've ever taught, blah 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 blah. Like, is
think that's
that
a
necessary? Is that necessary? Like, I get that you're frustrated, but don't do that. For me, there are times where I teach siblings together in one room, and I try very hard not to compare because it's not healthy. Like, you know, like you mentioned that it's not healthy, it's not good for their development. It blows their self-esteem a lot. But if they really get on your nerves, for me, when I teach, I don't compare. There's only one time where I compare. It's because the students really did not do what they're supposed to do. So I was really seeing red at the time, and I just blew off and just said, your sister is doing better than you, and you have learned longer than her. So yeah, I did compare that. But I did tell them also that I don't want to compare, but you really, really did not live up to the bare minimum. So if that is the point, that I can still kind of like understand a bit.
Doesn't mean that we advocate for it.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, sometimes, very rarely it does. You know, sometimes you do require that, but try not to. You know,
Because it really decreases morale.
Yeah.
And when you decrease morale in a learning situation, then you kind of lost the battle.
Mm-hmm.
You're a one-man army dealing against, or most likely, few people at a time, if not more.
And not only that, not every student can take it in a positive manner. Some people may think of it, oh, I need to be better than that. Then they are up for it. You know, it makes them even more willing to fight for it. But for the current generation, from what I see,
Or at least the culture that has been built upon these few current years,
yes,
the collective mindset doesn't work necessarily for individualistic thinking.
Yeah, exactly. So you might want to look out for that when you're teaching, you know. Yeah.
Comparisons. Don't do it so often.
Yeah.
You know what else you shouldn't do too much? Jokes. I mean, to be fair, you guys are educators, not necessarily stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Don't do stand-up. I mean, if you can do both, that's good on you.
Amazing.
I had one physics lecturer who was actually a stand-up comic.
Wow.
His jokes were amazing, but I still slept in his class.
No, that sometimes it just happens.
It just happens. But jokes aside, it's more of an understanding of your teaching style. Jokes or telling too many jokes or being goofy may not necessarily make you a good educator or mentor.
Maybe
or in a lecture situation.
Maybe a better way to put it is try to have a good balance of both. In a way.
In a sense,
Yeah.
yes.
It would be best if you can have a balance, but
A
at
balance
least-
according to your ability.
yeah.
Because if in the event
Yes.
that you really have no ability to tell jokes, maybe because everyone is human, educators are human, sometimes you may be very socially awkward.
Yeah.
But you have fantastic knowledge on certain subjects and topics. Sure. Just go ahead without the jokes. Because at times when you speak of a joke or try to be goofy that's not funny, you end up making a situation more awkward,
yeah.
and that you build an unnecessary tension between the students and you. It builds a wall of unfamiliarity. It makes the student feel, am I supposed to laugh at this? Am I not at the level to understand his or her comment on this? And so you par people apart.
That's actually true. Like
This is very in-depth. Nobody tells you this anywhere. I've told this to many mentors and educators. Please don't. Keep it. You're good at your work. You're fantastic. But the jokes you make are so bad.
Maybe we need to write up a book like how to make jokes and learn. But
We're not
again,
that funny.
but again, not everyone is born with a sense of humor, lah. So.
Or at least your sense of humor can be vastly different.
Yeah. It's different type of sense of humor. It works differently. So, yeah.
And last but not least is to be honest with your interactive style. So this somewhat goes back to being open and communicate.
Yeah.
But most importantly, as an educator, people will look for you one way or another. So it's good to tell them, are you up for after office hours talk, follow-ups, or are you open to having dinner with them? Because some educators can be like, oh sure, we'll just have dinner and we'll talk along dinner. Or are you the type like, okay, after work, you is you, me is me. Don't come to me. I like some people like to have the student-teacher relationship.
Yeah.
And we'll keep it that way.
Yeah.
Some of them can be, you can text me, I'll reply when I can. Or just send me an email, don't WhatsApp me because that's my private number. It could be situations like that. And it's not for the student to interpret the situation. Of course, to some degree, the students have to pandai, have to be smart enough to figure that out. But more so, not so much, and more so, as the educator, it's your job and your own person and your own right to make that boundary clear with the students. So if you have a particular need or particular style to it, let them know. Like, okay, so here's my email. You can text me. You can send me an email whenever you have questions. Please don't WhatsApp me. Or if you have a WhatsApp, please don't WhatsApp me at certain hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, you can also maybe state if you still want to WhatsApp me, I might not reply. I might only reply on this time. So yeah, at least you are giving a warning instead of just it's one or the other one lah. So either it's like a positive kind of thing or a negative kind of thing.
And it's okay because that's your right to your boundary.
Of course.
So that's one thing. The other thing to be open about communication style is that in your classroom or in your setting, you have a specific style, and if you say, I want my students to speak up more, then you let them know. I like you guys to speak up more, especially at what type of times. Because there are lecturers who will ask questions, but they themselves will answer because it helps them or it aids them during their lecture. So students will be confused. Am I supposed to answer this or not? So when it's like the boy calling the crying
wolf.
for wolf.
Crying wolf.
Like at some point, it's like, am I supposed to answer that or am I not supposed to answer that? So you gotta be clear at times. So you can say, oh, my type of lecture is I'll probably ask questions just so it aids me in lecturing you guys. But I'll let you guys know if it's a real question. So I'll say the word. So what do you think about this?
It's like
statement?
then you have a cue to.
Yes, it's like Simon says.
Ah.
If Simon doesn't say, I shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, actually that sounds correct. So yeah, I think that's a lot.
We've covered quite a lot.
Yeah.
Even though for basics, because educators are one I really respect this job because it's not easy to handle a bunch of people who would not yet master the certain skill or topic.
Oh yeah, speaking for experience, yes.
No matter if it's
So
a work situation or it's a classroom education,
Yep.
didactic, practical and whatnot. It's not easy.
Mhm.
We give kudos to the educators. That's why we have Happy Teachers Day.
So
Then
Yeah.
you're learning. As an educator, you are still learning.
of course,
We
of
give
course.
kudos to that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, in TF,
We
judge.
judge.